if you're really into sports, like you can hardly tell anymore where your sport's going to be played at, because the market's so fractured with all the media rights deals going on, that like you need a subscription for this one and you need a subscription for that one. You can only watch certain leagues during certain times of the year over here, but you get to watch it over here full time. It's like we're training the consumers to be completely schizophrenic about where their content lies.
And I think, Corey, we've seen this, right? I mean, and if you look back in time, when we moved from traditional, satellite, I mean, not satellite, terrestrial television to satellite television, from satellite television came cable operators who did the aggregation and started putting everything into one box. And the same thing is going to happen for streaming as well eventually. So you will start seeing people putting it together and bundling it together. But in technology-wise, there are a lot of other things that streaming brings, which again is, if you want to address the next generation, you need to start giving content where they want to watch it and how they want to watch it. It's going to be, sports like cricket, for instance, it's going to be very impossible.
But streaming is leading to millions and millions of dollars a year in piracy because everybody's picking it off the wire. Nobody has any ownership or access rights anymore. It's just like, okay, well, if we could prove through our Nielsen, deal that we had so many people watching over satellite or a cable subscription, we have no idea what's happening on the internet side. So it's all just lost money on the table. We might as well put bundles of cash on pallets and just light it on fire.
And so Neil, you talked about fragmentation. Like fragmentation, we're talking about right now. So the debate is sports rights hurting fandom right now? So maybe it's not going to hurt it in 10 years, but right now it is sucking the life out of fandom.
I think, Jason, if we start looking at defining fandom and saying that fans are just this particular age group, then it will be skewed in one particular direction. I think we need to look at a much wider audience here. There is a younger generation. There is a much bigger generation that's actually getting on to like sports. And they are not. Like, for instance, if my kid wants to watch cricket, it's not going to sit through 8 hours of cricket. Probably would want to see the highlights, want to catch on to it, come online when the last 15 overs or the last 10 overs are being bowled. That's exactly how this generation wants to do it. They're so used to watching snackable content and short format. You cannot, and you will have to make sure that you adjust how the content is delivered so that it suits their needs and requirements. And traditional broadcasts cannot do that.
Well, what are some of the things that streaming will bring? What are some of these advancements in fandom that will allow fans to say, you know what, this streaming is a good thing. There's all the things I can get through streaming that I can't get through traditional over-the-air broadcast or cable. What are some of those things that we'll get to see as a result of the streaming? What are some of the extra added features that we can get that will allow us to be more engaged in the sport? What are some of those things they can put on screen or that we can engage in more? What are some of those options?
I think the first thing, most important one, is the fact that you can actually watch it anywhere, anytime, and on multiple devices. That was previously not possible. You want to leave in between a match, you want to get out, go pick up a beer and come back, you can do it. Earlier, you'll have to speak to the wife, find out what's happening, or somebody on your friends saying that what's going on.
Broadcast with a PVR. Like, I got a personal PVR. Boom! I just hit pause. Like, I go get my beer, I come back.
You want to wait? You want to wait for somebody else, your neighbors, to celebrate a goal?
I've never had that happen.
Come on,
I always buck that use case. I bucked that one.
You're not going to do that. You probably want to continue doing it. You want to continue doing what you need to do.
The latency on streaming is going to cause you to actually hear your neighbor scream for the big touchdown when you're still watching it on delay because your stream has been buffering.
Yeah, we know that. See, latency is there. Latency is something that has improved over a period of time. What was latency a few years back is not what it is today, but we're getting there again. That's something that technology will allow us to improve.
Sure. But doesn't mean that that's going to be the challenge. I also think you'll continue to see, with more streaming, an influx of other engagement options and tools for fans to use. That can be different versions of altcasts, that can be different games, betting, polling that takes place in more of an active environment around these games. I think, again, looking to an audience that regularly consumes this stuff in sort of a second screen environment, and that is going to be looking for other ways to engage and other ways to consume it versus a traditional way of watching sports. I think the streamers will be more conducive to those type of options, to providing a bit of a different, more immersive experience. Never mind as you start getting into more potential VR, AR integrations and other different technology that's going to be coming down the pipe.
So
I mean, are we already seeing that with cable? I mean, we have that. There's different kind of casts. We have the Manning cast, and there's other different versions of. There's like 4 different versions of the NCAA football championship. So isn't cable already doing that? Isn't there more of a competition? I mean, cable.
Hold on. We're not talking about streaming versus broadcast. That's not what the debate's about. The debate's about sports rights, right? So yes, rights are more conducive to deliver via streaming platforms because you can carve them up by geos. Like, that's the problem. So the question's not streaming. No, streaming's definitely better experience, cooler stuff, awesome. Cable sucks at it, whatever. But we're not talking about that. We're talking about sports rights. And so when you start having sports rights holders sell their rights to streaming platforms, is that screwing fandom? I say the answer to that is yes. Streaming itself is fantastic. That is probably the way it's going to be delivered. Like, I mean, look where I sit. I'm in streaming video technology lines. Of course I'm going to say that. But sports rights, that's hurting the fan because of everything Corey talked about, which is all about fragmentation. I got to go here to get this. I got to pay to get this, do this. So the concept of I'm a sports league and I have rights to all this. I can sell to everybody. It's no longer carriage deals to a local broadcaster. It's whoever I want to sell it to. That's hurting fans.